Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the City Council meeting to order and have a roll call, please.
Alderperson Robinson.
Present.
Hurt.
Here.
Tweet.
Here.
Swanson. Here. Parker.
Here.
Poulos.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
And Mayor Tomes.
Here. Thank you very much. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, we have public comment. Thank you. We have several people that have signed up. So Kelly Cruz would be the first. Remind everybody, we like to keep it to 5 minutes and try not to repeat what others are doing and saying. So thank you. Get that as close as you can to your mic. And then you can see, turn it on. Push the button there to turn it on. There's a button down on the stand.
Oh.
There you go.
There, it's got to be green. Okay.
There we go.
Gotcha.
Now we gotcha.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'm in the First Ward. I've lived there for 14 years. I'm sure everybody's aware by now that we had a police-involved shooting of a 21-year-old man. And I went and talked to some of his family and friends over the weekend, and I know that we've talked about this before. In a previous case, there was a person who was on foot that, the police tried to track down that ended up in the death of that man, and, there was some effort to talk about, like, the foot pursuit policy, and that kind of ran aground, and people were, upset, offended, whatever you want to call it. We need to fix things so that these things stop happening. You can put out as much information, and talk about, what was the person? Did they have a warrant out for their arrest? What was it for? To me, the bottom line is that a man is dead and he shouldn't be. And that, people that live where I do, my neighbors, they need to be able to feel safe. Whether they're walking down the street in their neighborhood or driving in their car with their family members or whatever they're doing, mundane, day in, day out stuff like that. They need to be able to feel safe. And if you make a mistake, it should not carry with it a death sentence that doesn't have any opportunity for you to, be represented in everything that our Constitution is supposed to guarantee. If somebody's in a car, you wanted to talk to them and they got away, is that the end of the world? Or do we want to put a little bit more emphasis on preserving life, making sure that they get their say in their day in court, that this isn't like the 18th century, with the, what do you call it, the on-the-spot justice. It's just a very sad thing to be part of a community that things like this happen on a fairly regular basis, and we need to, some of us put aside our hurt feelings about it and find a solution that's going to make it so that this doesn't have to happen again to another family. Thank you.
Thank you. James Blue.
James Bloom, Rock Island. I'm also here to talk about the recent police shooting. To kind of go back to what Kelly said, it seems rather untenable as a society that we would allow the second person in 3 years to be executed by the state without trial, without like chance to be heard or seen. They're just killed in front of their children in their car, chased down and murdered by the state, by the violent arm of the state, as Dylan once put it. John Adams once said, "I'd rather 1,000 guilty people go free than one innocent man be put in chains." And we've become entirely too comfortable with the idea of 1,000 people getting killed just in case one of them might have been guilty. It's a sign of a sick and diseased society that we would not try everything we can to put an end to that. If you described like a squad in Iran of like unaccountable goons who just killed people without remorse, we would rightfully shake our fists and say, what are they doing? But when it happens in our own backyard, we just kind of, well, I guess that's the cost of doing business. I don't see a future in a world that thinks like that. And I think that we as a community and we as a society and you as representatives should really think hard about what that leads to for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Bonnie Ballard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bonnie Ballard, President of the Rock Island County NAACP. I greet you, Mayor Tomes, and council members on behalf of the NAACP Branch 3268. On behalf of the Rock Island County NAACP, we send love, encouragement, and sincere sympathy to the community and family for the deceased Jackson. I want to let the family and the community know that we are in collaboration with law enforcement regarding the shooting incident that occurred on Sunday, January 5th, 2025, in the city of Rock Island, Illinois. We want you to know that several investigations are being done. When all of these investigations are completed and reports are available, along with the body cams, the NAACP will be collaborating with law enforcement. We will be reviewing and analyzing the facts as they relate to the 10 shared principles that were adopted in April 26, 23. During our collaboration with law enforcement, our goal will be to review the 10 principles to find which principle was not followed. We will not tolerate assumptions. We will review the facts, not assumptions. We want the truth. We will review and analyze the practices and procedures. We will especially want to find out what degree, if any, whether the 10th shared principle was followed, which reads, and I quote, "We believe de-escalation training should be required to ensure the safety of the community members and officers. We endorse using de-escalation tactics to reduce the potential for confrontations and endanger law enforcement officers and community members, and the principle that human life should be taken only as a last resort. We will continue to collaborate with law enforcement to reach a solution, a resolution that shows that the Rock Island County NACP and law enforcement missions are aligned with racial justice, equity, accountability, and the 10 shared principles, ensuring a safe environment for all citizens in Rock Island County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we got Rachel. I think if I can.
Hi, my name is Rachel Welker. I'm a Rock Island resident. I was Rock Island born and raised. I'm here to voice my deep concern that this has happened in our community. I'm learning now that this has happened before as well. It's completely unacceptable. The police do not have the right to act as judge, jury, and executioner. And I really sincerely hope that all of you here today take this very seriously and do everything in your power to find some solutions. Our community cannot be this way. It's unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken.
Good evening, Ken Jacoby from Rock Island. My wife Sarah Jacoby owns Spellbound downtown. Yes, I'm sad and upset that it's closing, but keep in mind every fact I will present is documented by communications with the city or by local news reports. I'm reciting facts leading to the inevitable conclusion that the city has failed us, the same as a long line of downtown business owners who expressed dismay at the lack of concern by the city. The mayor at the time said, I'm skipping over that, sorry. The current mayor as a candidate said the city should go visit different shops and businesses to find out their needs and help them grow, that the city should be more business friendly so we don't have more empty downtown buildings. Yet when the chips were down, the city failed. Spellbound was a successful business. Started in a 270 square foot space and shops on 2nd in 2015. It quickly grew to a bigger space there and in early 2020 relocated to its current home at 217 17th Street. Despite COVID, Spellbound continued to grow and thrive until a few bricks fell from the facade at or above the roof line in June of 23. Absolutely zero to do with the structure of the building, but it was 22 days after the deadly building collapse in Davenport. Keep in mind, there were cracks in an exterior wall at the Freight House in Davenport earlier that month, even closer to the date of their building collapse. An evacuation was done, inspection happened that night. It was business as usual the next day. But this is Rock Island. Here, the mayor and city officials publicly patted themselves on the back for their great communication surrounding the falling of a few bricks. Who did they not communicate with? The owner of Spellbound. The shop isn't open on Mondays when the bricks fell. Tuesday morning, she went to work as usual, found the building surrounded by police tape. What happened? Had someone died? She had to ask over at Theo's to find out. No one from the city bothered to tell the owner of the only business in the building that it had just been involuntarily closed. The building was shut down for a full month by order of the city, which, by the way, precluded any insurance claim, even though it took just days to determine the structure was sound. Davenport 1 day, Rock Island 1 month. Then, also by order of the city, scaffolding covered the entire front of the building. Customers were injured trying to enter. We asked for a more customer-friendly configuration. This was ignored. We asked why the scaffolding was there when no work was actually being done, producing a bit of information from the contractor, an angry phone call from the landlord's representative, and zero updates from the city, which had publicly announced it would take weeks rather than months. No, it was months, 4 months, and zero help in expediting the work while the business continued to hemorrhage. Customers thought we were closed or were scared to enter, and why shouldn't they be? Once work finally started, customers literally had rocks and debris dumped on their heads because the scaffolding utterly failed to do the one job it was supposed to do, protect those underneath. Customers went to competitors, some never returned. Spellbound conducts Saturday afternoon classes, an hour a week. Sarah asked Dari to help with where to hold them. She was told help was definitely on the way. Then the head of Dari stepped in and directed her employee not to communicate with us. I have the emails. What she offered in the way of help was to tell a business in dire straits that more money would be extracted from her in the form of a temporary lease and only with our landlord's permission. In Rock Island, helping a small business means taking more money away from them in their time of need. Luckily, Kevin Maynard at Quad City Arts reached out on his own and loaned a space for free. With news of Spellbound and Theo's now closing, the city's economic development director went on Channel 8 to say he went door to door last summer to find out what businesses need during the construction, except the owner of Spellbound has never met him. When questioned about this, he documented meetings with literally every other business owner in the 200 block of 17th Street except Spellbound. Walked past it on 4 separate days it was open and never went in. Why not? Every other business except Spellbound. Why? Of course, 17th Street was deemed unaffected by the construction. It's a perfect example of the tone deafness of the city. Do you think everyone knows every downtown street and business location? Why is the city ignorant of the simple fact that people are avoiding going downtown? Because the one thing they do know is there's that big construction project going on. The city helped businesses in the zone only after hearing squeaky wheels, but couldn't even meet with unaffected Spellbound. Economic Development Director told Channel 8 to talk to me in 6 months because there's prospects for new businesses. We've heard this kind of talk for more than a decade. For 4 years, the city pursued Walmart, spent $15 million of our tax dollars to relocate businesses and level a shopping center, despite never once having any binding agreement they would come to 11th Street. What's happened in the more than 8 years since? Nothing. Oh, except we learned today that $3.2 million more of our local tax dollars will go towards putting in a left turn lane with no businesses to turn into. Also 8 years ago, over in Moline, Mill Chevrolet left. 15 months later, the city struck a deal with developers. Moline has a new shopping center providing tax revenue. Rock Island has an empty field, occasionally with geese. Back to the construction project. After the work had already started, it was learned there was bedrock closer to the surface than was originally thought. No testing beforehand? Imagine running into bedrock in Rock Island. Ground broke last April, with completion scheduled in 8.5 months. I don't know where this has been announced, but reporters have told us we're now at 16.5 months, so basically double the original timeline. The project is supposed to spur economic development in downtown Rock Island. The sad part is there's no evidence that the city has either any intention of actually helping downtown businesses or any earthly idea how to actually do economic development. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that is all that's signed up for public comment. So we're on to item number 6.
Signing ceremony for the intergovernmental service agreement between the City of Rock Island and Rock Island Arsenal for fire extinguishers.
Well, this is a very exciting, wonderful moment. Once again, the City of Rock Island is collaborating with the federal government. I've repeated it several times, but the City of Rock Island has done this for actually, I'll say, decades with the wastewater originally. Now we are managing the drinking water over there. We've also taken over helping with the stoplights and electrical issues. We then started doing the emergency radios and collaborating in with that. And now, with drinking water, and now we are working on fire extinguishers. And so we're very excited to continue this wonderful relationship with the Rock Island Arsenal. Using the cliche of win-win, we as taxpayers win. It is actually reducing their expense on the island, and it actually creates some revenue for the City of Rock Island. So it's a revenue stream for us above and beyond what we're spending, but yet it saves money overall. So the taxpayers win all the way around. So, I think, to be honest with you, I think there's more to come in the future of this relationship. It's been a wonderful experience, and I know that we're working on other issues, and so we hope to be able to repeat this. So I don't know if real quick you want to use the microphone and introduce yourselves real quick. That'd be wonderful.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Command Sergeant Major James Brown, Rock Island Arsenal Garrison Sergeant Major.
And I'm Colonel Joe Parker, the Garrison Commander for Rock Island Arsenal. So, Mayor, just like you said, win-win for us. We are a relatively small installation that has all the same demands of any municipality. And so where we are able to save the taxpayers' money is by partnering with a lot of our local communities out here in the Quad Cities. And so this is just one example of 7 intergovernmental service agreements we have, not just with the city of Rock Island, but we've got them with Moline, Davenport, and we continue to look at opportunities to, one, make our dollar go more so we can focus on what our core business is national defense and defending the country, providing those services that allow all of our mission partners on the arsenal to do their job, but also tie ourselves into the local community and make ourselves a larger part of this local Quad City. We like to kind of say, hey, we're a Quad City too. We might be the original Quad City, although everybody thinks we're that black hole in the middle of the Mississippi. So anytime we're able to tie ourselves into the local community, do something that's mutually beneficial and saves money, we're all about that. And so we're going to continue to try and do this. But this is just one small example, but a significant example from a safety component that gets after a multitude of things, not only to help expand revenue streams and the like for Rock Island, but also protects the safety and the livelihoods of folks on the arsenal itself. So appreciate the whole team here at Rock Island, their willingness to work. My team over here, Debony Wagner over in our resource management, and the folks that work for her, and their willingness and your willingness to continue to take a look at these and move forward. It's a great opportunity all around. So I appreciate the working with us on this.
Absolutely. And I just want to also reiterate that Todd Thompson, our city manager, and I meet with the garrison and other staff on at least a monthly basis, if not more. We get updates. This next month or so, we'll be doing a tour of the island to get updated there. So the two, I'll say, organizations, public sectors, do communicate on a real regular basis, but a lot of the work is done with the rest of the staff. The police department and the fire department and the public works, all of them are constantly working with and training with the island, as vice versa, even supporting in fires, etc. So it has been, like I say, it's a great relationship, and continue to work that together. So thank you very much. So we're going to have Todd Thompson, city manager, and the garrison sign this document. Thank you very much. Yep. You bet. Oh, you bet, sir. It's wonderful. Do we need another photo standing here with it, or what do you want?
Get one together with the flag. One, two, three.
Now look at me.
Wonderful thing. Yes. I don't know if it was mine.
There you go. You're very serious.
All right, we have another presentation. I've got it right here.
Okay. Next is proclamation declaring January 20th, 2025 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Whereas Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life and career to the advancement of civil rights, equal treatment, and human decency for all people. And whereas the efforts of Dr. King and the many others involved in the civil rights movement have helped to break down the walls of injustice and allow African Americans and other minorities to succeed both as individuals and members of society. And whereas the goals and ideals of Dr. King have not yet fully been realized, with that in mind, it is our duty as Americans to continue his struggle and to work toward a more understanding and respectful society. And whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Day serves to bring people together in remembrance of this true American hero and encourages citizens to engage in community service, which in turn serves to honor Dr. King's legacy and advance the cause of justice and equality in America.
Now therefore, I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, proclaim Monday, January 20th, 2025, Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the City of Rock Island, Illinois, and encourage citizens to serve their fellow Americans and help make this better community, thereby providing a fitting memorial to the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Jerry, thank you very much. Thank you. Would you like to say anything? You can say it there or here, how
The
you want to.
ceremony? Yeah.
Yes. So it's my honor, it's my pleasure to be able to announce to you all that we'll be having our 42nd recognition of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King on January 20th at the Martin Luther King Center at 10:30. And I make this announcement making sure that everyone feels that they're invited to this ceremony. This year is our 50th year as an organization in the City of Rock Island. And we're kicking this celebration off of our 50th year with Miss Minnie Jean Brown Trickey being our keynote speaker. If you're unfamiliar with her, she was one of the original Little Rock Nine that helped integrate school, I can't remember the name of the school, but it's this high school in Arkansas. Was one of the 9 members to do that. Imagine being a high school student and integrating an all-white school with armed guards help you to enter the school while being harassed verbally, physically, assaulted, and yet being steadfast in resolve. She'll be there at the Martin Luther King Center to share that experience with us all. Along with that, we are seeing the reunion of the Westbrook Singers coming to provide a performance for us as well. So I invite everyone to be there in person. We will be live streaming if you're unable to make it, but an event like this is best experienced live. So please attend and have this opportunity to see the greatness that exists in Rock Island and to honor a great American hero as Dr. King. Thank you.
Here you go, Jerry. Thank you very much. All right, we are on Update Rock Island. I have a couple items. We just talked about it, but I'll reiterate it. The Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center will host the 42nd Annual MLK Memorial Service and Awards next Monday, January 20th, starting at 10:30 a.m. The public is welcome to join in person at 630 9th Street, Rock Island. The event will also be live streamed on Facebook and YouTube. This year's service is an extra special as it kicks off the MLK Center's 50th anniversary year with featured speaker Minnie Jean Brown Trickey, who is one of the Little Rock's 9, let's get this right, Little Rock 9, a group of students who integrated Little Rock High School in Arkansas in 1957. Also, the Westbrook Singers, a nationally known gospel group originally from East Moline, will reunite to perform during the event. State of the City Address. The 2025 City Address will be held Tuesday, January 28th at Bally's Casino and Hotel. Doors open at 11:30. The program begins at noon. This year's theme is Reinvesting in Rock Island. The event is open and free to the public. These who want to eat lunch are asked to register by going to the city's website at rigov.org. 11th Street reconstruction. This week, the city learned it received a federal RAISE grant in the amount of $22.7 million for redesign and reconstruction of 11th Street between 31st Avenue and Blaukhak Road. The RAISE grant, this is very important, the RAISE federal grant, which stands for Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equality, comes to us after many years, 4 grant submissions with the collaboration of city staff and state and federal officials. The project for this important 2-mile stretch of 11th Street will redesign 11th Street from 4 lanes to 3 with 1 bi-directional turn lane in the middle, provide ADA compliant sidewalks throughout the corridor, add pedestrian connections between 11th Street and 9th Street, which is home to the schools, community facilities, and residents. All include green infrastructure and stormwater improvements to improve sustainability. And I want to say congratulations to everybody involved in this, because there was a lot of people putting a lot of hard sweat and tears into this, and hours and trips to Washington, D.C., et cetera, to make this happen. This is a very competitive grant process. But I do want to emphasize once again that the $22.7 million is federal tax monies, not local. Obviously, local people here pay into the federal taxes, but it is federal grant. And then there's an additional $2.5 million in state grant going toward it, and then $3 million of city monies. So that makes up the $28.5 million grant request, or project for that. So that's all I have for that. All right, item number 9.
A report from the Community Development Department regarding an ordinance establishing a public hearing date on the proposed amendments to the existing Parkway I-280 Casino Tax Increment Financing, or TIF, redevelopment plan in project area. First reading.
Motion to consider the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
And then I apologize, I'm sorry, we missed over the presentation of the CY 2024 third quarter financial management report. Jessica?
Don't want to forget you, Jessica.
Yeah, sorry.
You almost got away with it, so.
I did too.
We both forgot.
I just, yep, got too quick.
She remembered.
Oh, you don't want to record that.
They never want to record the good stuff. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Before you tonight are the financials for third quarter. So as always, I won't go through the memo verbatim. I will just hit on the highlights, but if you have any questions on any part that I skipped, then feel free to stop me. The third quarter benchmark for revenues and expenditures is 75%. The general fund reported revenue at 79% and expenditures at 68% for third quarter. Special revenue funds, such as the Public Library Fund, reported revenue at 71% and expenditures at 53%. The TIF districts, which are all combined, reported revenue at 93%, while combined expenditures were at 20%. The gaming fund revenue was at 68% and expenditures were at 21%. Because this report is through September, the transfers are done in December, so you'll see that number go up when we do fourth quarter. We do the transfers in June and December for interest and principal payments. ARPA expenditures were budgeted at $16.2 million for 2024. Actual expenditures for the quarter totaled $9.2 million, or 49% for third quarter. Motor fuel tax fund revenue was reported at 73%, while expenditures were reported at 25%. And the MFT Rebuild Illinois expenditures were reported at 3%, or just over $37,000 for third quarter. And this is attributed to projects that just haven't been completed, so we haven't had invoices that needed to be paid. The Martin Luther King Center Community Center Fund reported revenue at 70% and expenditures at 75%. While Community and Economic Development Fund reported revenue at 40% and expenditures at 50% at the end of September. Again, that's due to the timing of the drawdowns that we request from HUD. Enterprise funds such as water, wastewater, and solid waste funds reported revenue above the 75% benchmark, while stormwater was slightly under at 65%. Expenses for water, wastewater, and stormwater were below the benchmark for third quarter, while solid waste was right at the 75% benchmark. The Parks and Recreation Fund revenue was at 66%, and expenses were reported at 57%. The MLK Community Center Fund reported revenue at 65%, with expenses at 59%. So moving on to general fund revenue, about 19% of general fund revenue is received from state and local taxes. At the end of third quarter, income tax income tax revenue was at 82.8% of the budgeted amount. Replacement tax revenue was at 61.8% of the budgeted amount at the end of September. Local option sales tax was below the targeted benchmark at 65.3%. Telecommunication tax and use tax were also below the targeted benchmark. They were at 58.1% and 58% respectively. Local food and beverage tax was above the benchmark. It was at 84.8%, while municipal utility tax and gaming tax were below benchmark at 58 and 73.5%, respectively. The monthly investment interest report indicates average interest rates were paid out during third quarter varied. Some of the investments had declining interest rates over the entire 3-month period, while others had declining rates in September only. The city received a combined total of just over $832,000 in all investments for interest in the third quarter. We're still accruing back revenue and expenditures to 2024 and will likely continue this process through March. While some of the state and local taxes came in lower than anticipated, expenditures were also lower than anticipated, so staff still expects a surplus for 2024. The city's preliminary audit is scheduled for January 21st and 22nd, and the fieldwork will begin August 14th, so that'll be a 2-week process that we have with the auditors. Over the holiday, we were told that the city received the GFOA award for the 2023 financial statements, which makes this the 42nd consecutive year that the city has received this award, so we were pretty excited to get that information. So I am finished presenting the financials. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
Council have any questions? Nope, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, now we're at 9B.
Report from the Community Development Department regarding an ordinance establishing a public hearing date for the establishment of the Parkway I-280 Casino Business District, first reading.
Motion to consider the ordinance.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Parker.
Aye.
Item 9C.
Report from the Community Development Department regarding the sale of city-owned property at 1602 9th Street for $481 plus closing costs, first reading.
Motion to approve the sale, authorize city manager to execute the sales agreement, and consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy. Aye. Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Parker.
Aye.
Item 10A.
A special ordinance regarding a rezoning request from Amy McFall at 3720 8th Street, second reading.
Motion to pass the ordinance.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy. Aye. Robinson. Aye. Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Parker.
Aye. Item 10B.
An amendment to the resolution regarding the closure of the Master Sergeant Stanley Talbot Memorial Bridge and 15th Street, or U.S. Highway 67, on Saturday, March 15th, 2025, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. for the St. Patrick's Day Parade hosted by the St. Patrick's Society.
Move to approve the amendment and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy. Aye. Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Parker.
Aye. Item 10C.
Report from the city clerk regarding a resolution adopting the partial release of closed session minutes and the destruction of audio recordings from the same closed session minutes.
Motion to approve the partial release of closed session minutes as recommended and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson. Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Parker.
Aye. Item number 11.
Consent agenda items A through I.
Move to approve consent agenda items A through I.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Pulis.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Item number 12.
A, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $37,376 to Monroe Trucking Equipment of Monroe, Wisconsin, to outfit one 2024 Ford F-350 Super Duty truck with a snow fighter package. B, do you want, B, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $111,514.82 to Martin Equipment of Rock Island, Illinois, for the purchase of a 2025 John Deere compact tractor loader and options.
Move to allow claims A and B.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Pulis.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye. Item 11A.
Report from administration.
Sure,
regard-
13A, apologizing.
No, that's okay, I got you.
Wow. Man.
Report from administration regarding an agreement with Project Now for the temporary operation of a warming shelter.
Motion to approve the agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the document.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I'd like to call Reverend Ford up real quick and just do, if you could do, just give a quick summary of what your plans are, please.
Absolutely. Let me say thank you to the council and its leadership for entertaining such at a time like this. We found out in late fall, as we approach December time period around Thanksgiving, that the overflow shelter that's normally operated by our sister organization, Community Homes, in Davenport would not be open. Immediately, we started
Thank you. Okay, anybody have questions for him?
I do.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question, if it's okay. Any thoughts as to, obviously, we understand this is for 2025, and I know that that takes care of this year. Are there future plans that you're working on for while that solves this year, or alleviates some homelessness issues this year? What are the plans going forward for future years?
That is a great question. I'm glad that you asked. Our intent was to do stopgap measures now to preserve life. As soon as we finish, we intend to get this city, because this city is stepping up to assist us with whoever comes up. Although this is a shelter that brought as a goal, but we owe this city the details immediately. So as soon as we complete our commitment April 15th, but in a very short period of time, less than 10 days, we'll submit that number report. Then within 45 days, we'll submit a full report that tells us list all of the details, the partnerships, what lessons we have learned, which will lead to focused commitments of what does the future look like. We still intend to sell that building. So we will be coming back to conversations with city officials. We know this 1 year is not going to solve all of the homeless challenges. However, we do believe that this year we'll be able to put pressure relief valve on our sister organization, Rock Island Public Library. We believe that we'll be able to be much more attentive to the needs of those who are simply looking for warming shelter overnight, knowing that the number of those that are severely mentally ill, which is through addictions, is only 10 to 15% of the population. More and more people are unhoused simply because being priced out for evictions and have negative credit or evictions on their records that makes it almost impossible to get back into the system. I have been in that overflow center. I have worked in every Friday night during the season myself, served the people myself. So I'm not talking as someone that is distant. I know the feel of it. And there were so many that I would run into that get up and go to work every day from that shelter, trying to hold their job together. We want case management to come in out. Once we find out what the trend line is, then we believe that it will help us find out what can we do in the future. We did not see ourselves having to do this. This wasn't in our plans. But when the bottom falls out, we believe people should run toward challenges. So we're willing to do what we can, step out of faith of people to join us. And as we go, we have my word to thinking about this and how and what to do about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
The only comment I would have is thanking you for your compassion for those that are truly in need in this horrible cold weather. Not a cold weather guy, but thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Pulis.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Item 13B.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding bids for the 2025 water service and sewer lateral repair programs, recommending the bid be awarded to J.C. Dillion of Davenport, Iowa, in the amount of $746,639.70.
Motion to approve the bid recommended and authorize the city manager execute the contract documents.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion?
Due to the nature of my employment, I need to recuse myself from this vote.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Pulis.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
And Swanson.
Aye.
Item 13C.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding AT&T's third amendment to the site license agreement for cellular equipment upgrades at the 413 42nd Avenue Water Tower.
Motion to approve the agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Item 13D.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding a proposal from IMEG of Rock Island, Illinois, in the amount of $178,000 for engineering services on the Belly West development.
Motion to approve the proposal and authorize the city manager to execute the document.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Item 14A.
Report from the Community Development Department regarding the Parkway I-280 Casino TIF feasibility study.
Motion to approve the TIF feasibility study and authorize staff to place the study on file for 10 days and distribute it to all affected taxing bodies.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Item 14B.
Report from the Human Resources Department regarding a retirement healthcare funding plan for fire department employees.
Motion to approve the healthcare funding plan administered by the National Public Pension Fund Association for fire department employees.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson. Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Item 15A.
Report from the Trafficking Engineering Committee regarding a request from Sheila Solomon to remove the handicap parking spot at 1309 6th Avenue. First reading.
Motion to approve the request is recommended. Consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Poulos.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Tweet.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Parker.
Aye.
Okay. Item 16.
The Rock Island Port Authority.
Move to close the regular city council meeting and convene the Rock Island Regional Port District meeting.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Close the regular meeting. Is there any business?
No update
Mr.
tonight,
Flaherty?
Mayor.
Nothing.
Nothing.
All right. Anybody, the council, have any questions, concerns? Hearing none.
Motion to exit the Rock Island Regional Port Authority and reconvene the regular city council meeting.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 17, other business. Anything?
I do. I just want to thank my fellow aldermen for the compassion that you are showing to those people who are homeless and freezing and who are in desperate need of warming. So I just want to thank you for that.
Very good. Anybody else? If nothing else, before I just want to let everybody know that we are actually pulling the closed session from the agenda. So that there will not be a closed session. Okay.
That means we go to the.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, wait.
Can you guys say that any quicker? Okay, I assume there's no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're now adjourned.